Hey everyone. So I'm making paper beans again. I've done this before, but they were round. This time I'm making them square. And I thought they turned out really cute. And they were a lot of fun to make. What inspired them was the popsicles. I loved that look of the whitewash. And so I thought, I want to make some of those into paper clips. Maybe even hook some onto the paper clip. Like for the bookmark. This one has, well, I keep turning around the wrong way. This one has the faux film strip and a little piece of muslin that I did a bad stamp on, but I thought it looked really pretty with the scrunginess, a little charm, and a piece of the gold mesh. But I thought, that would look good on these popsicle sticks. So I went about trying to make some of them. Again, just visiting an old, I like putting little charms on the bottom. And while I was making these, I had some, this is a pretty one, has lots of beads, some eyelash trim. I found some material laying here, and I thought, I want to wrap some of that up in there and see if it works, and it does. I think it looks really, really good. This was a piece of sari silk, this one, and this one had, I put a piece of material like this, just a piece of material. And you don't need a very big piece. This is like the perfect thing for scraps, whether it be paper scraps or material scraps. Got a couple charms on that one and made a little bead charm. And this tutorial is not about the bead charms because a jewelry maker I am not. I have said that many times. I'm a terrible, terrible jewelry maker. But you can make these with any kind of paper clip. I used some from the Dollar Tree. I have this huge bag that I got from, I don't know if it was a secondhand store. I think it was for like $1 or something. And those are 2-inch clips. These are 1.1-inch clips. And that's what size these smaller ones are. It doesn't matter the size of your paper clip. If you have paper clips, you can make these. Doesn't matter what size. So the first thing I did was, I'm again, this is just a scrap piece of paper, so I'm going to put down my, no measuring, I'm just putting down my paper clip. I'm going to use the larger 2-inch. And I'm just going to make a little, well, I'm not even going to make a mark. I'm going to take my ruler, and I'm going to tear where I think we'll let just a little piece. And again, that is up to you. Do you want a lot of the paper clip to show like on this? Do you want just a little bit to show like on these? This one hardly any showing because of the fabric, but all of that is up to you. This is just how to go about it. So I'm going to tear this where I think it's about the right size. And this is a piece of tea-dyed paper that had some printing on the opposite side. And if you can tell, that's going to leave just a little bit on each side. And again, that part doesn't matter. It's up to you. So I like the edges to be inked, and I'm not the best at rolling. So mine aren't always perfect. You can see that they're just a little uneven. So I ink before I start. That way, no matter how I roll it, it's going to show. It seemed easier to me to ink beforehand than later on. So I just inked around the edge like this. And also this piece is probably the width of a normal paper. It's probably 8.5 inches. So I'm going to tear it in two because you don't need this much. So I'm just going to tear it right in the middle. And then I'm going to take my stamp pad and just dab it on. I like the, I'm going to do it the other way. I like the look of that. And you really only need to do it on one end because none of the rest is going to show. Just do it on one end if you want. You can ink the whole thing, but It's not really necessary. So I did something like this, and then I took some of my stamps and just stamped some numbers. I stamped some paint splatters. I did all, you know, just anything that you want to kind of show like that. Let me grab the paint splatters. I liked that really good. You could use different colors, like on some of the Christmas ones, I used red ink after I went around it in green, just to give it a little bit of a different look. But you can use any kind of papers. Doesn't have to be like this. Matter of fact, all of these that I made are from regular scrapbook paper. And I just cut it down. This is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. I just cut it in the strip size that I wanted, which I cut them for the smaller ones. And I think it was about 3/4 of an inch is what I cut these. And then after I cut the strips, I just tore them in two. So basically they're about a 5.5 inch strip. So now we've done this inking. We're gonna flip it over. We want our inking to be on the underside. And I took some double-sided tape and just run it along the end, a couple strips, and laid my paper clip really close to the edge, right up next to the edge like this. And then I just started rolling. And I pushed back to keep it tight. And I tried to keep it straight. It doesn't always stay straight. You can use glue as you're going up if you want to. I didn't use it the whole way. I just put little random bits every now and then. Pressed it down to make sure it's good and glued. And another thing I think I'm going to do, well, I don't have to do it now. And then I just make sure and put glue on the end. When you're stamping, you just want to stamp enough that's double the width of your paper clip. So if your paper clip is a 1/2 inch thick, you want at least to stamp an inch. That way you'll be sure and have stamping on both sides. And that's it. So at this point, I used my glossy accents and I painted it. We'll do a couple of them before we start painting. That is how you do just the plain one. Let's do one with some fabric in it. Oh, again, I'm going to just put a little bit of ink. I really like that look. And I like the stamping, so I'm going to do that again. Maybe I'll just stamp words. I love my script stamp. I've done that on some of them too. I've done that in different colored inks. And again, I only did it on the end. That's really too much how much I've done, but so we'll do this one. And then I've got some pieces here that I used on my jelly plate long time ago when I was making jelly prints, and I had some papers. I tear these off when I ship packages, and these are pieces that I tear off. So I just jelly printed them. So I'm going to tear this in half. And I'm going to cut a little bit. Well, I'm just going to tear a little bit off of one side, or cut, whatever. We'll cut it. That'll be quicker. Because it's a little bit too wide for my paper clip still. So that's how much I'm going to have sticking out. Hope you can see it. Cut a little piece off of this one. This would be great with like music page. That's about the perfect width for those. Both of those. So I'll leave those as they are. The paper clips you get from Dollar Tree are coated with something and they won't rust. So they're perfect for something like this for me to use because I knew I couldn't rust them. The thing is that a lot of them are colored and I really didn't want colored ones, except on the Christmas ones I used some of the colored just to use them up. Just going around the edge with my inking again. And when I did the jelly prints, I think I did a tutorial on it, and it was a mess. I'll just tell you, don't bother. I didn't teach you nothing in that. Whew, I'm a terrible jelly printer. We did learn that. But I made these neat background pieces, so we'll just use them up today. Some of them. I have more. Lucky me. There's more. And these are such pretty color. I don't really need to do this, but I do like the dark on there too. It seems like it, I don't know, I just like it. And if you tear your edge like this and ink it real good, it looks pretty too when it's, because you can see it'll be like this, but it'll have that rough edge and it'll look really pretty when it's folded up. I think I'll do some splatter painting on this one. Or splatter painting, I mean this. Now you could splatter paint, that would be a good idea. Just take some of your white scraps and splatter paint with some distress inks. That would be cool. A nice, a different look. So we have 2 little ones and 3 big ones here, and I'm just going to roll them up, flipping them over. I want the painted side opposite of the way of the paper clip. So again, I'm just going to put that right up next to the edge and roll it. Adding some glue here and there. If you didn't have, now on the one I used eyelash trim, while I'm rolling it, I put a strip of eyelash trim on each side with just some of this double-sided tape. And you don't really need it the full length. Like I could do it right now. I actually have a piece somewhere. And we'll just glue it on there. Put double-sided tape up the sides. And I'll cut a little piece of this and put on both sides. Like that, where the most of the trim, the little frayed pieces are sticking out. You can always give it a haircut later if it's too long. And just keep rolling. And if you like things more precise than what I'm doing, you can always, I mean, that works. This will work for you too. I'm just not that particular with it, unfortunately. And then on some of them, I would put little clips on so that it could hold while it was drying, something like that. But there's one with some eyelash trim. We can do one with some, let's do one with has strings sticking out or in it. Actually, I thought it would be nice. I'll show you what I mean here in just a second. As I'm rolling, I'm just kind of twisting it a little bit to try to keep it as even as I can and to keep it tight. So I'm just kind of pulling back and twisting if I start going sideways. If I start going sideways really bad, I'll do that. Now, what I was thinking about for the strings, if you had, you know, if you're like me, you keep your threads from when you sew. That's not what these are, but it would look neat kind of wiggled around in here. And then when we gloss it, they'll stay on. There's some red in there too. I don't know if you can see it, but on an accident, I've got red in there. So I'm just going to do it like that, just to give it a different look. And when we, like I said, I'm just kind of, I put a little glue down to hold it in place until we do the glossy accents. And then we'll cover up the threads and everything. See how that works. Okay, so there's another one. This is a smaller one. Small paper clip. You want more paper, you want them thicker, you can make longer strips. These I thought were thick enough for what I wanted. And you do have a little give. I use some double-sided tape that's not the best. So if while you're rolling you decided one end sticking out too far, you should be able to push it, still push it back the other way to make it more even for you. And there we have a little baby one. So we've got, I do it that other way. We have 3 so far. And I'm just going to keep wrapping, and when I'm done wrapping these, we'll come back and do the next step. Another thing I like to do, this is one of the plain cardstock, and I inked around it and did a little script stamping. Did the same on this one. On this one, I took my vintage photo and kind of ran it through because I liked it to show a little grungier than the white. So I did it like that. Again, I just did it on the end because that was all that was going to show. And like I say, you can make these thicker, thinner, however, you know, if you want a thicker bead than this, just add more paper. You know, make your strips, don't tear them in half, maybe. I think on this one, we might add some fabric. And it seems like these are easier for me to roll than the round ones. And you don't really need much fabric either. See, I'm going to push that. I'm still able to push it a little bit to even it back out. So I'm going to take a little bit of this fabric, and you don't need a very big piece. Like all that frayed stuff to be on the edges. And you want to put it face down because it's going to be showing. That's what's going to be showing. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue. Just lay it down. A little bit more glue on the top. And then just continue rolling till the end of your strip. And maybe you want more fabric to show out the ends, or so you can cut your fabric whatever size you want. That's just how I did it. And these are just ideas. You use your own imagination, what you want to show. Maybe you like them different than me. Everybody likes different things. We're going to make one more small one. They're just so fun and easy to make. You can build a stash of paper beads in like no time this way. You have glue all over your fingers, but it's worth it. And then, like I said, you can always clip it just to make sure it stays until it's dry. All right, so we're done with all of that. And now I take these toothpicks. I have this foam. Oh, it's like for florist, and I got it at Dollar Tree. And I just poke toothpicks in it. And after I paint them with the glossy accents, I just kind of set them on here so I can do both sides at the same time, and they can be drying without laying on one side or the other. I'll say that the ones I've done before, I added 2 coats. One coat was just not quite, look at that, stuck my finger right in it, was not quite shiny enough for me. I did this with a brush instead of my spatula. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the toothpick because I thought it gave me, it was easier, I don't know, on these smaller ones, especially when I put fabric, it was easier to keep it away from the fabric with a brush than with the spatula. Here's the one with the threads. Getting it in my paperclip. I didn't do that last time. I guess I'm getting in a hurry. I like doing the paper clips too because you have something, a little something to hang on to so that you can paint the whole thing. Speaking of painting, these would be fun to paint too. Just use white paper and then paint it after you roll it up. Sit it kind of at an angle. See if you can see that. That's kind of hanging them from my deal. Here's one with some fabric, so I'm going to be a little bit more careful with it. It's not going to hurt anything if you get it on the fabric. It's just going to make your fabric look stiffer, and I like it to be, more pliable. And I'm just going to finish painting these, and when they dry, I will probably give them a second coat because I like mine to be on the shinier side. See, and that one has a thread stuck in it. I'm going to leave it. I like the extra. I like it. I just think these are, any kind of texture we can give them is neat. It probably has a thread from this eyelash trim. And see, some of it is in my little crease there where I rolled it. And I'm good with that. I like that. I like kind of grungy anyway, so it works out. While those are drying, I'll tell you that on these, the jump ring size I used, this is the jump ring, like this, are the 8mm, but I also used some of the 10 and they worked out great. And I'm not going to show how to put them on because well, I'll show you how to put them on, but again, I'm not good at it, so really I shouldn't do a tutorial. I think the easiest way is to take a ball pin and just loop it through the top of your paper clip that's sticking out. Something like that is easy. Or like I said, if you would rather have a jump ring. So as I was saying, it's, you know, we'll put a jump ring in this one and I will do it, but I know that I'm not doing it right or that I'm good at it. So another thing, your bow pin, the more paper clip that you have showing, the easier it is to get your stuff in and out, obviously. That one has a 10mm jump ring on it. But let's just put a jump ring on. Again, I'm not good at this. There's a lot of tutorials out there that will show you the right way to do it. But just to say I can show you, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I think I'm going to use one of the bigger ones on this one, which is a 10mm, because it's not sticking out very far, the paper clip, and that way it'll give whatever I hang it on to a little bit more of something to hang on to. And I just want you to know that my tutorials, I say they're tutorials, it's really just an idea. It's just sharing ideas that I have. And I know that, you know, I don't always do things like we're supposed to do them. I do them how it's easiest for me. And, you know, if I had to follow all the rules and measure all the things, I wouldn't do it. I mean, that's not fun for me. If it is fun for you, then you're supposed to use your clips and move them back together. And I went through that whole thing and never showed you what to do. So, and actually, I'm going to put another one on there. So anyway, I think more of, I'm just along the lines of giving ideas, you know, hoping to inspire you. So you grab each side, twist them opposite of each other, don't pull them apart, twist them like this. And then loop it in, whatever you're putting it on, which would be our paper clip end. Grab back a hold and bring them back together. And this never works right for me because I know I'm doing it wrong, but that's okay. If you, it's easier to get them lined back up though if you do them side to side versus spreading them apart. So there's our little charm. I love it. Anyway, good news. I'm probably going to stop posting a video every day. I don't know how it got to that point. It was just, my mind was blowing up with ideas and I wanted to get them out there. And I do still have ideas. But I don't, you know, I know everyone's busy and probably don't have time to be watching my silly channel. So I'll probably just, I don't know, either let it run its course till my ideas run out or my inspiration stops. And maybe, what do you guys like? What, one a week, two a week? I know that you're not living for my videos, but for anybody's videos, what's your favorite amount to watch? Like, we'll put a jump ring on this one too. Actually, this one's so far done in there, I might just put a ball pin. What's your favorite? Do you like just once a week? Do you take once a week and get caught up? Do you watch only when you need inspiration? That's kind of me. And I make a lot of my jewelry pieces, my charms, like this, out of old jewelry. These were some beads that came in a kit from somebody. This one I put some stamp fabric and one of the cardboard pieces we had done in a previous video. Ooh, here's a big one that has some stamping. I need to paint it. But a lot of the, like this is just old jewelry that came from a secondhand shop that was probably broken, you know, and I'll put a little bulb clip or something and hang that from either maybe the front cover, it's big enough it could go on the cover of a journal or the page of a journal. They're lightweight, so they could go off the side of a page. I keep finding ones that I've made. So again, I would recommend don't go out. If you have any size of paperclip, you can make this work. You don't need a certain size unless you just like the bigger ones or whatever. I have a lot of the bigger ones that I'm, of course, can't locate right now, but they wouldn't rust. They had a plastic coating on them, and thought, what am I going to do with these? Because I bought them for the purpose of rusting. So I like that there's something else I can do that with these that I really do like. And this one's dry, so I'm going to go ahead and put a second coat on this one. There are different things you can use for the glossy accents too. A friend of mine gave me some of this jewelry glaze. Now, I haven't tried it, but she says it works the same as the glossy accents, and it looks like that came from Walmart, and it's from Aleene's. I think we're done, guys. I hope you liked this video. I hope it inspired you, gave you some great ideas on making paper beads. Maybe not like this, but maybe some way different you would like to make them. Again, thanks for all the comments. I really, really appreciate you watching. I hope you will try some of these, and I will see you next time, guys. Bye.